rating the comments. This one's going to be a little bit different. Wicked Jutto is who posted this. Builder named Jutto. Outpost Brookeville. Raid attempts 24. Raiders killed 182. Kill ratio 7.6. Fun 7. Brutal 13. Ingenious 9. Artistic 4. Last 3 days of the outpost went silent, which leads to my theory of people flagged it after not being able to complete it, and it was taken down. No glitches or exploits, just complete bullshit. Good luck. That's awesome. So I went through this base and I went to stop recording and it said start recording. So of course I fucked that up, but Pigeon Chest a long time ago was like, hey, it's in your replays. So I went into his base and I was like, oh shit, how about I go back and use the replay footage? I'll talk over it, which sucks because I'll try my best to remember kind of what was going on and explain some things, and maybe I can take a better look into this. So let's play it. So right off the bat, he's got the, he's at 10. He's put fire on there. Don't know what I'm getting into yet. I just know, obviously, there's going to be flames, I think, from the warning there. It's too bad, too. It was a fucking ride, let me tell you. This is one of my favorite bases, by the way. In the top 10 for sure. And it sucks because I had a lot of nice things to say about it, but, you know, I fuck things up sometimes, and it's just one of them. There's no fucking way I'm letting this video go, though, without getting it out there. I'll talk over it and do whatever. So right off the bat, I'm doing kind of the deck of shuffle here and bypassing a lot of these. I'm starting to notice, I haven't figured out that this is kind of what we theory crafted with doing lots of J's and L's. He's doing it perfectly. He's got the extended mods. I think I would have put more napalm on in retrospect, but you know what? It's whatever. So I'm shuffling past these. I'm kind of like, you know, I bet this is killing a lot of people who don't know how to, and this guy almost pushes me out of my spot. I'm like, Harvey, dude, stop. But if you know the triangles and your safe spots, you're okay. So this is when I start to kind of compute. I'm like, oh my God, he's made the J&L base. And I'm like, well, okay, as long as I can deck a shuffle past these, I'll be all right. But I'm still waiting for punches because Jutto is a very smart dude. So I'm still investigating. I also realized I brought my crossbow from the previous map. That was also in my top 10 bases ever. So here I'm looking at the half square. I'm looking at this. I'm trying to compute what's safe. This left thing kind of puts me in a weird spot. I got my bubbles. I drop one immediately. Die. I'm like fucking brilliant. So he took the J&L thing and he put dead man switches above with the lava. And I'm just like, oh, this is great. And I switched to my kit that I use because I'm like, I'm going to need to use my best kit for this base. He's taken the J&L min-max concept and he's made it fucking deadlier. I believe I die 4 times, and that's knowing how to get past the flames. So Jutto has made a base that net positives, even when you know how to navigate the harder traps. That's really, really impressive. And it ramps up. I won't spoil it for you, but we all know Jutto knows how to... He's the heavyweight hitter. He's the heavy puncher, and he's doing it here too. Pressure is constantly being applied. You have to hug the walls. If you screw up a little left, you're burned. Start over. So this is a base you cannot stop on. You got to be computing. You can't fuck around either. He's implemented it perfectly. Kind of the concept that I kind of had in my head. And then maybe he was working on this too. Maybe he had the same kind of idea. But he also took a good idea, in my opinion. Self-praise there. And then made it more efficient. He cut fat off and applied more efficient muscle to it. And that's in the form of these dead man drops. And I'm kind of like, what's safe? You know, that's all got to... And look, as I compute this, I'm looking and I'm like, see, he's separating these by 1 block. Those explosion radiuses are 1 each. So he's not packing in each one. It's 1 per. So he's spreading it out in an efficient way. I check here. I'm like, oh, fuck, this guy knows. So that's a drop. That's a drop, you know. And one over to the right here. That's a drop. That's a drop. And these are all 1 space. So in here, I'm like, well, maybe I can dip in there and kind of find some safety. But when I pull this, interesting things happen. I'm still computing. You forced a brain burn on me. Look at that. Brilliant. I mean, that's perfect. That's perfect. In terms of efficiency, there's no... And then he's got the guy... And that's when I'm like, fuck. He's got the guys that come in. They're all flame resistant. This was the plan. Body blocking. Does it perfectly. Boom. What a great base. I mean, I'm not, you know, self-filleting here. Because it isn't... he took an idea and made it his own and made it better. And that's how you play this game, I think. That's how I play it. Is people have all sorts of different brains out there. They come up with shit you can't because you don't think a certain way. You see their shit. You take what's good. I think I'm just computing here, right? Did I pause it? Yeah. No, I'm computing. I was like, how do I do that? And look, I put my fucking thing in the middle, and that roasted me. So you have to be always moving and on top of your shit to do this. So in my head, I'm going, okay, I got to favor a left or right side. It's a shame, you know, that the commentary is lost because it's fun to compute this, but this is a base where it's almost just as useful to see it in action. And maybe it's better because I'm kind of figuring it out as this process goes along. Now I understand it because I've been through it and, you know, gotten out. But this, you know, people who don't know flames, they're shooting these things. They're not doing the shuffle and they're wasting bolts. And it's just a lot of margin for error. And people who are getting hit and don't know the safety zones on the side, they're running. They have to keep moving forward. And that's when they start getting into trouble. And they get all the way to the end. It's almost like a trap with barbs faced inward, where the further you push in, the more they kind of keep you locked in place. You almost don't want to keep pushing in because you're going to get fucked. I love this base. It's so good. It's in my top 10, by the way. I don't know if I already mentioned that, but it's just cool. At the end, you know, I'll try and remember what I'm talking about. But this feels like a crowdsourced dungeon. Like, I you know, the only thing I can think of is if... well, all you had to do is put blocks on the outside, though. And then I do that for this. I'm excited for you guys to see this shit, too. Not this part, necessarily. Oh, yeah, definitely not that part, because I died. I think I've... oh, shit, I'm still up. Okay. Yeah, this is the other way. I start going, all right, you got to move, dude. Just try. See what you can find out. I decide dead end. Call you a bastard. Still mean it. It's excellent. This was his storage area, but he also trapped this because it's a possibility someone used it for safety, and he didn't want that. And all I've done is made it further into this base that I have to navigate out of. Yeah, pressure is just, it's constant. Constant pressure. Pss, 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 nonstop. And again, if you don't know to hug the walls, you're getting this is a hard... what did he say? Last 3 days, went silent. No one able to complete it. Flagged after not being able to complete it and was taken down. No glitches or exploits. Yep. It's kind of cool. Someone was able to put it into practice, and it's performing as I thought it would, and it's really fucking good. And that makes you feel good, you know? And Jutto, like, spun it and made it even deadlier. So this is a community base in that moment. I guess they all are, right? In a way. We're all, like, taking stuff from people, the best parts. But this one's like ours, I feel like. And it's a good base. And I think it shows we kind of know our stuff. I don't know what I'm... oh, this is probably where I figure out, maybe, that the Dead Man's drops were spaced. Not sure. Okay, this is where I'm like, shit, pressure. Exit traps. Fug. Get me out. Too much. He's got ropes. Perfect. I mean, this is it. He's getting exit traps, so it's even hard. It's harder on the way out. And this is a hard base. I get out here and I'm like, I gotta fucking take a second. I'm so, like, amped up from, like, trying to compute. And also, like, there was a point in there where I was like, slow is gonna kill you. Go. Go, go, go. You just gotta run. Remember, with this added pressure, there's no time. And he just did it perfectly. This kills. So, I mentioned that I thought this one was an explodey. It might have taken too long. I don't think it would have mattered. But if I shot it from, like, over the left there, you know, further down, and here I'm like, dude, just get out. You're pushing it. And, but I wanted to see kind of how everything was. Um, it's executed perfectly. I don't know if he's got the all the things surrounded enough where you can't get the bolts from the outside, but yeah, I was just like, man, I gotta fucking take a break on it because it just mentally exhausted me. I had to change from being careful where my placement was to fucking go, just run, dude. And it was like I have no idea what kind of exit traps he's got lined up for me, and it's just great. You saw it. I mean, I know I got out, but 4 deaths he got off me, fucking fair and square, me knowing how to navigate his most difficult traps. That's fucking nuts. Knowing someone's like layout, because after the first couple L's and J's, you're like, okay, I got this. This is so cool seeing this in real time because it's what we talked about, and someone just fucking made this and made it fucking better in my opinion. Um, and Yeah, and after that, kind of seeing it and knowing how to navigate it, and then still getting fucking rocked in the space legit 4 times, that's a net positive. If you're overcharging this, or what is it called? Overrunning it? I don't know. Whatever gets you more gen mat with the risk of them stealing stuff, he net positive on this. He got 4 deaths off me trying, like, me really trying to get in there and do it. So he got that from someone who knew the tricks and knew the trap. That's you should really have like 0 deaths on, I don't know, I said death. 0 deaths on a base you understand. Ideally, you shouldn't be fucking up if you know what's coming. Element of surprise should compromise a majority of your deaths because you're like, fuck, I didn't expect that. I didn't know everything. I knew most of the base, and then he added a dead man drop on, fucking destroyed me completely. And that's all he needed to do is just add in his own creative element. And it's just like so fucking good. And then the ogres come in, the brutes, and you're like, oh my god, and it works just like you thought. Single block tile. You saw me trying to jump around it. It's too much pressure if you fuck up and you side swipe a little bit. And that's where I wonder. I think the way to do it is to have side triangles and alternate them on either side. Have side triangles so they're covering both sides of the hall and have those resistance, because if you're jumping around them, the center's covered with a lick, and so are the sides. And if both sides are done in an alternating pattern, I wonder if it's then you really got to hustle. Then you got to outrun the previous flame, and it gets to a whole other thing. But once the brutes come in and they got you locked in that hallway, you're fucked. Like that's it. It's you can get out, but it'd be fucking hard. So efficiency wise, I really believe this is one of the best bases you can make. And he did it perfectly because Jutto is Jutto, and right down to his little storage area where I was like, well, maybe I'll sneak out here. He's like, nope, pressure there. Wherever you're going, you're pressured, and it's just like, it's awesome. The fire at the top to kind of show like what kind of base this is was just extra good too. I'm excited to throw this one out there. I don't mind so much that I missed the commentary because I was like, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna go back in there and record this base one way or another, and I'm glad I did. This is going to be a base that I remember and just will like look on as like one of the main ones for me, because it was like an idea implemented and made better, and that's like what this game is about. It's taking people's shit and just going, I think I know a way to make this even fucking more deadly, and then you do it, and then it's like, oh, and everyone's like, yes, what a great idea. And that dead man switch, I know dead man switches isn't necessarily like Jutto's idea, but he applied it to this base, so it is in my eyes. So well done per usual, Jutto. You knock it out of the park. Heavy hitter. He's the heavyweight puncher in Evil Genius, I think is the name of the video. And that's what he does here. It's constant pressure, and then what? Heavy hit with a bunch of guys dropping out of the ceiling, and then what? Heavy hit, a bunch of brutes rushing you down. That's what he does, and he overwhelms you with really efficient shit, and it's just good. So thanks for sending that one in, Jutto. Per usual, you know what you're doing, man. Love it. The base. Oh, because I normally hit escape in these videos. Can I like fast forward this? Or I probably ended here. The outpost is Brookeville, and the builder name is Jutto. Brookeville is BROOKEVILLE, and Jutto, capital Jutto, just in case that doesn't show. Thanks for checking that one out, guys. Loved it.